Guys, welcome to another video. In today's video I'm going to show you how to replace your brake pads on a Toyota RAV4 2011, but this procedure applies for a RAV4 between 2006 and 2012. So we're gonna start with this with the caliper bolts. This is a 14mm socket, but also with Toyota we're gonna need a 17 wrench to hold this bolt around or nut around this area, and with the 14mm we're going to get loose our caliper bolt. Same thing for the bottom side, just like that. I'm gonna use my electric ratchet to make the process a little bit faster. Now we are ready to remove the brake caliper. You can use head screwdriver like this to push the piston in. That way we can remove the brake caliper a little bit easier, just like that. We have to be careful with the brake line. We don't want to stretch it out or anything like that. We need to be very careful. So we can use a hook like this and support it around the spring. Now we have full access to our brake pads and our brake sliding pins. These are very important. Sometimes they get rusty and that reduce brake or braking performance a lot. So we want to make sure they are in good shape. If not, we can also replace these. They are usually very cheap. Now I'm trying to get loose these sliding pins. I'm gonna use the 17mm in this way so we can remove them easier. Same thing I'm gonna do with the bottom one, but just keep in mind these sliding pins need to be lubricated. You can use pretty much any type of grease, but I recommend you to use a silicone paste grease. It's the clear one. That's very good for the brakes. As you can see in my case, this sliding pin is pretty rusty. I eventually will replace them, but as of right now I don't have any replacement, so I wanna reuse them. But first I want to make sure that the surface is, as clean as possible. You can use a grinder. In my case I'm gonna use this wire brush. It works pretty much the same, but in this case if you have a grinder it's gonna be much better. I'm gonna leave a link in the description of the video if you are interested on getting the brake sliding pins for this specific Toyota RAV4. Now we're gonna remove our clips, metal clips. I'm using the flathead screwdriver, just like that, and we're going to do exactly the same thing on all 4 corners. We want to make sure this area is free of any type of debris or rust. That's a very important step. So the caliper, the brake pads can sit properly on these clips. When you buy a new set of brake pads, they are supposed to come with these clips. So you wanna always try to replace them if you can. Before installing your new clips, you can use a small layer of grease, and then you're gonna do the same thing on the clip. You're gonna add some grease. I will show you shortly, but that way the brake pads are going to slide uh, easier on the bracket. Here I have the sliding pin. Like I said, it's very important that you make sure they are properly lubricated. This is gonna give us the best braking performance on these brakes. Sometimes when you put these pins back in, you can tell like there are some air gaps. You want to try to remove those air gaps. You can just try to lift a little bit the rubber, and then push the pin in. That's gonna release any air inside of the bracket. Now we are ready to uh, press in our or compress our brake caliper piston. I'm gonna leave a link uh, on the description of this video so you can get this tool that I'm using. There are different types. This is the one that I use, especially because it comes with a big case with different adapters for different vehicles. When we are pushing in the piston, you want to take a look at your brake fluid on the engine compartment. The reason why is because if the brake fluid is almost at the max level, chances are you're gonna get some brake fluid dripping out of the reservoir, so you want to avoid that. If that's the case, you can just remove some of the brake fluid. That way it's going to be on the right level. So here I'm lubricating the clips, the metal clips. Like I said before, that's gonna help us to install the new brake pads uh, way easier. In my case, I'm using Bosch brake pads. My first time using this brand, so let's see how that goes. Now just it's about to align the pads properly and put it back on place on the bracket. You can use a hammer to help you put this back on. And finally, we are ready to install our brake caliper. Just keep in mind, once you are done with this job, you need to push or pump your brake pedal a few times, and that way you what you're doing is pushing the piston back against the brake pads. If you don't do that, once you are driving and you try to brake or stop, your brakes are not gonna work. So you need to be careful with that. This is for the rear brakes. I'm not doing rear brakes on this car since they are in good shape, but the process is pretty much similar to the front, and I would say rear brakes are even easier. Just you're gonna need a wrench, a socket, maybe it's a smaller size, maybe a 13, 12 millimeters, and that's it. So now I want to show you how to adjust the emergency brake. As you can see, this car needs an adjustment. It's way too high. You see that? You don't want that. That means the brake shoes need, be a little bit closer to the brake drum on this area. You can adjust it from here around. You remove this rubber cap, and you have access to the metal or wheel mechanism inside of the brake drums. But I want to show you how to do this from the cabin without removing basically just one piece. Um, and it's a very easy procedure. So all you need to do is to lift up this piece where the mirror switch control is located, and then you will have access to the two nuts that and they give you the adjustment. So once we have access to the adjustment area, we're going to use two wrenches 10 millimeters. These two nuts are holding up or are tightened together, so we need to get them loose, and the nut that we are going to use to provide our adjustment is the nut located on the bottom side. Okay guys, I hope you like this video. If you learned something, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and as always, please have a wonderful day. God bless you, and see you on the next one.